Okay, with this video we are going to start with problem number 9 on the fall semester exam review. And with numbers 9 through 12, which is what this video is going to be, we're talking about the sum of an arithmetic and the sum of a geometric series. Remember that this little symbol right here is what we call a sigma, and a sigma stands for a sum. So I've got two formulas. One I've got for arithmetic. So my arithmetic formula is going to be the sum. So S sub n is equal to n divided by 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. This formula can also be written as n times all of this divided by 2. Either way, you're getting the same formula and using the same information. So either way you want to write it is perfectly fine. All right, and then we have our geometric formula. And with our geometric formula, I'm going to be using S sub n, so my sum of my first n terms is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the nth power divided by 1 minus r. So there's our formula for our geometric series. All right, so let's start with number 9. So with number 9, they've written it in that sigma notation. So I'm looking for the sum from the first term to the 15th term of 2n minus 2. And so that's how they'll write that. This is talking about from the first term to the 15th term of this little formula right here, 2n minus 2. All right, so looking at my formula for a sum, I need a couple of things. So the first thing I need is my n value, and my n value is going to be this number up here, so that's going to be 15. I'm looking for the sum of the first 15 terms. All right, I need to find a sub 1, so to find a sub 1, I'm going to plug 1 into my formula right there. So that's going to give me 0. And I need to find a sub n. Well, we just said n was 15, so I'm looking for a sub 15. So that will be 2 times 15 minus 2, so that gives me 30 minus 2 gives me 28. All right, so let's plug all of that in. So that's going to be the sum of the first 15 terms is going to be 15 divided by 2 times a sub 1, 0, plus a sub 2, 28. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do that in my head. That's going to be 7.5 and 28, and then I can use my calculator, and I'm going to do 7.5 times 28, and that's going to give me 210. Okay, on number 10, they're asking for the same thing. They're just giving us the information in a little bit of a different manner. On this one, they tell us a sub 1, but then they give us our d, or our common difference value, to be 4, and then they give us an n value of 10. So our a sub 1, our first term, is 10, and we're looking for the sum of the first 10 terms of the sequence. Okay, so let me start by writing that in sigma notation. So in sigma notation, I'm going to start from where n is equal to 1, and I'm going to go up to my 10th term, just like that. And then what I need is kind of my formula that goes inside here. So let's take a few minutes. I'm going to go back to the first video where I found that explicit formula to be this, n minus 1 times d. And I'm going to leave n as n, so I've got a sub n is equal to a sub 1, that's 10, plus n minus 1, I'm going to leave the way that it is, and I'm going to multiply 4 for my d value, for my common difference. That's the number that we're adding each time. All right, so a sub n then is going to be, I'm going to distribute this 4 inside here, so that's going to give me 4n, and then I'm going to have 10 minus 4 is going to give me plus 6. So my formula inside here is 4n plus 6. Okay, so that gives me a little bit more to work with there. All right, so for my sum formula, I need n. I know that n is 10. I need a sub 1. They told me that's also 10, so those happen to be the same numbers. It won't happen every time, but it just happens to be in this one. And then I want to find a sub n, so a sub 10 is going to be 4 times 10 plus 6, which gives me 46. All right, so s sub 10 is going to be, filling in my formula, n 10 divided by 2, oops, times a sub 1, which is 10, plus a sub 10, which is 46. So really what I'm doing here is 5 times 56, and I'm going to put that into my calculator, and that gives me 280. Okay, on number 11, we are working with a similar thing, but this time I'm going to go use that geometric formula. So this time we're working with a common ratio, or the number that's being multiplied each time. So remember, that's the difference between arithmetic and geometric. Arithmetic, we're adding the same number each time. On geometric, we are multiplying by the same number each time. Okay, so there's number 11. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to find for my geometric formula. Here's my geometric formula up here. Okay, so I want to find a sub 1, I want to find my r value, and I want to find my n value. Okay, so I'm going to start with my r value. My r value is what we're multiplying by each time. So as I look at this, this is going to give me times 5. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. And 15 times 5 does give me 75. Then 75 times 5 does give me 375. So I've got a common ratio of 5 on this one. Okay, I also need a sub 1. So a sub 1 is going to be my first term, and there it is right there. They gave it to me this time, 3. I didn't have to go find it. And then I also need my n value, and my n value is 7 on this one. They gave that to me as well. All right, so let's plug all of that in. So the sum of the first 7 terms is going to be a sub 1, so 3 times 1 minus r, 5, to the nth power. That's going to be 7. And then I'm going to divide all of that by 1 minus r, which is 5. Now notice that the 7th power is just affecting the 5 right here, so be very careful with that in your formula. Okay, so let's go do that first. So I'm going to keep my 3 out there in front, and then I'm going to have 1 minus, and on my calculator, I'm going to do 5 to the 7th power, and that's going to give me 78,125. And on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and make that a negative 4 down there. Okay, so inside my parentheses right there, I'm going to do 1 minus my 78,125, and then I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 3 up there on the top, and then I'm going to divide all of that by negative 4. And so on this one, my answer is going to be 58,593. And with those geometric ones, the sums are going to get really big really fast, so it's okay for you to get a big number on some of those. Okay, and then the last one for this video, we're going to take a look at number 12. So on number 12, again, we're finding the sum of a geometric series. They've just given us the information in a little bit of a different way. So they've given it to me in sigma notation this time, which tells me to find a sum. And the other thing that they've done that's a little bit different is they've used k for the variable. That's okay. K and n and x and all of those kind of mean the same thing. So it's just the choice of variable that they have. All right, so I'm going to start by finding the information that I need. So to find r on this one, it's nice to build out the first couple of terms. I'm going to need a sub 1 anyway, so let's go and find a sub 1. So a sub 1 is going to be negative 2 to the 1 minus 1 power. So that'll give me negative 2 to the 0 power, and I know that anything to the 0 power is going to be 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find a sub 2 because that's going to help me find my r value. R is often the thing that's inside the parentheses right here, but let's just check and make sure that that's the way this one is. So that's going to give me 2 minus 1 up there, and so that's going to give me negative 2 to the first power, which is negative 2. And so if I'm multiplying to get from here to here, that is going to be multiplying by negative 2. So I've got a common ratio on this one of negative 2. And again, it's what was in the parentheses up there, but I just wanted to kind of check and make sure. Okay, the other thing I need for my formula is my n value, which is 10. That's that number that's up here on the top. Okay, so let's plug into our formula for our sum. So the sum of the first 10 terms is going to be a sub 1, so that's going to be 1 times 1 minus r, so negative 2 to the nth power, 10, divided by 1 minus r, negative 2. Right, watch out for all those plus and negatives. The other thing you want to watch out for on this one is the order of operation. So let's be sure that we raise the negative 2 to the 10th power first. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep my 1 out there on the front side. You don't really have to, but I'm going to just for a few minutes. And the other thing you want to be careful with on this one is to make sure that the negative 2 is inside parentheses, so that when you raise it to the 10th power, it also raises the negative to the 10th power. So that's going to be 1,024. And then on the bottom, I'm going to change my minus and negative to a plus and make that a 3. Okay, so I'm going to let that 1 go right there now. So I'm going to do 1 minus 1,024, and then I'm going to divide that by 3, and that's going to give me a sum of negative 341.